Hey, awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to another Baldur's Gate 3 video. In this one, we only have 4 classes left. We're going to be talking about another class. But before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching the videos, who's been supporting and stuff. And if you could continue to support by leaving likes, commenting, subscribing, and sharing these videos, that would help a lot. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by summer we'll be start doing giveaways and a whole bunch of stuff, you know, like $25, $50, maybe even more, we'll see. And if you want to see something else on the channel, like Baldur's Gate guides or build guides, or just some cool interactions, or just some of the cheeses that you can do, let me know down in the comments. Also have Discord, we can share all that stuff with me in there. I'd love to hear from you guys. And last but not least, I stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 4 p.m. Eastern. Right, with all that said, let's get into the video. Well, we're going to be talking about a ranger, which is what I'm currently playing my solo playthrough. Right, so rangers are, you know, they're pretty good scouts and trackers. They have 3 different subclasses, which again we'll talk at the end. So we'll pick ranger. As soon as you pick at level 1, you'll be picking one of your favorite enemies. You know, you have Bounty Hunter, who's proficient in investigation, and if you hit creatures with a ensnaring strike, either ranged or melee, they'll have disadvantage on their saving throws. Keep the Veil, you have proficiency in Arcana and can cast protection from evil and good. Magebreaker, you have proficiency in Arcana and can cast True Strike. Ranger Knight, we get skill proficiency in history and armor proficiency with a heavy weapon. And Sanctified Stalker, we get proficiency in religion and can cast Sacred Flame. Personally, I like to go Bounty Hunter for proficiency in investigation and get disadvantage on enemy if I do Ensnaring Strike. After that, you get Natural Explorer, 5 things. You have Beastmaster, you have Cultivated Strong Bond with animals, so you can cast Find Familiar without expending a spell slot. Urban Tracker, an expert, you know, and stuff, where you get proficiency in Sleight of Hand, and you get 3 different Wasteland Wanderers, where you can get resistance to cold, fire, and poison. Again, the favorite enemy and Natural Explorer is depending on your build, but I'm gonna go with Urban Tracker. If you are more with the beasts, Beastmaster would be huge, you know. Same with, I don't remember which one over here. Yeah, again, it depends on your build, but if you want to see the builds, do let me know. The proficiencies of Ranger are, well, one of the proficiencies, their key abilities are Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom for spells. Right, I like to build mine something like, right, it might be a little something like this with this type of charisma. Right, actually I messed it up. Ooh. There we go. Something like this is not bad because I like to focus on dexterity, because your damage from range attack comes with dexterity. If you are building it for a melee damage, right, something like this would be not too bad, right? And you can go with this or something like this if you're going with the melee, but I don't personally go with the melee damage, so I go like this. And maybe 13 on charisma, right? The reason why I go 17, because if I do get anti-ethel hair, I get 18 to dexterity, and then I can get +2 from ability score improvement at level 8, or depending on the build, and I'll get to 20 dexterity, right? You're proficient with simple weapons and martial weapons, light, medium, and shields, or light armor, medium armor, and shields. You can get skill proficiency in either animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, and survival, you know. And yeah, personally, I would use something like medium armor and a short bow, right? So once you get to level 1, you get that stuff. Now at level 2, you get some more cool things, right? So At level 2, you get a passive, level 1 spell slot, and health. Right? Personally, since you get the ensnaring shake benefits, if you took one of the things, ensnaring shake is huge. Another thing you can do is cure wounds, but I do like to take speak with the animals because it does expand your spell slot. It is an action, but it lasts until long rest. And if nobody else in the party can speak with the animals, definitely take it. If they do speak with animals, just take like, cure wounds. Because there's some cool stuff that you can do by speaking with the animals. Now, the passive is fighting style. Depending on the build that you go with, you can either take archery, which gives you +2 to bonus ranged weapon attacks. Or if you're using like two weapons to main hand and offhand, 2-weapon fighting is not bad. Or if you're trying to like use one-handed and then you have no shield, dueling is nice. Defensive, don't really prefer, but I like to take archery because when I play ranger, I try to be at range, and getting +2 to range weapon attacks is pretty big, especially at level 2. It's pretty massive. At level 3, again, you get health, you get another level spell slot, new spell, and then you get specialization. Right? So for here, I take cure wounds. If you take cure wounds and you have somebody that speaks with animals, what you can do is take like enhanced sleep. Right? So you have 3 specialization: Beastmaster, Gloomstalker, and Hunter. I'm gonna take Gloomstalker, and again, we'll talk about all the subclasses at the end a little bit more. But that's with Tiefling, that's for us. Replace spells. If you want to replace spells because somebody else got them, you can do so here. Now, at the next level, level 4, you get some cool stuff. And by that, just health. Oh, and the new feat. Depending on your build, something like ability score improvement or SI might be huge. Alert, especially so you get +5 initiative. But if you took something like Gloomstalker, big thing might be for you, and especially if you utilize range, is Sharpshooter, right? You get increased range weapon attacks. Your range weapon attacks don't suffer penalties from high ground rules. For example, if you're on the lower ground and you attack it at high ground, you get a penalty going low ground. But with this, you ignore it. But if you have it turned on, you have -5 penalty to attack rolls, but you deal additional 10 damage. But later on, as you get better gear, and you can apply debuffs on the enemy and buffs on yourself, this might not be huge, that -5. But just for the bypassing the high ground rules is massive in itself. So you can turn off the all-in and keep the low ground effect. Right. Now, at level 5, health, level 1 spot, level 2 spot slot, and you get an extra attack, which, to be honest, might not seem like a lot, but it is. Right? You also get some of the subclass stuffs, but we'll talk about it again later. So for your level 2 spell slot, personally, that is up to you. You can take Pass Without Trace if you want to be a bit more stealthy. Cast Silence, but personally I wouldn't. The big thing I would take is Hunter's Mark. Right? Because, well, you can apply it, making the enemy take an additional damage, And you can recast it without expending spell slot as long as the target dies before spell ends. Right? You can replace spell, stuff like that. Now at level 6, well, you get to choose some new passives. You get another favorite enemies. So if you have Bounty Hunter, you can take something like Keeper of the Veil, or Mage Breaker, Ranged Knight, Sanctified Stalker. Personally, honestly, depending on your build, that is up to you. But for me, maybe like Mage Breaker, just for true strike. Or if I want to be a bit more upfront, I could take Ranger Knight, which I might. Now for Natural Explorer, again, that's up to you. There's a lot of stuff that does like cold damage, fire damage, or poison. So taking those resistances might be good, But if you want to cast a familiar, that's also as well. I will personally take something like poison resistance. For myself, again, you don't have to, it's up to you. Now at level 7, We get another spell slot, more health, new spell, and subclass stuff. Now, for a spell like this, again, Passive That Trace is not bad. Lesser Restoration is not great. Dark Vision, kind of useless to be honest. You know, Bark Skin is pretty nice if you're wearing something like no armor or light armor, might be good early game. But Spike Growth was also pretty good. What I would take personally is Passive That Trace. You know, plus 10 bonus to stealth checks is pretty huge. But it is concentration spell. Now, at level 8, we get another feat, and we get Landstride Difficulty Terrain. What Landstride Difficulty Terrain is difficulty terrain no longer slows you down, which is pretty huge, especially when you're fighting in like mud or in webs and stuff like that. You know, where stuff that can slow you down or make you use more of your movement will no longer slow you down, which is pretty massive, allowing you to reposition or get up to the enemy a bit faster. Now, for your feet, if you want, you can take Alert, but ASI or Ability Score Improvement is pretty massive because getting, you know, as you can see, we went from +3 to Dexterity checks to +4. It's not bad, and it could be 20 if you take Anti-Atoll Hair with Dexterity. At level 9, we get level 3 spell slot, new spell, and more health. Now, for here, actually, yeah, ignore the fear, that's for subclass, right? But for level 3 spell slot, things like Plant Growth might not be bad, but it is action. Lightning Arrow probably is pretty awesome because it is lightning damage, and there's stuff that are weak to lightning damage. So personally, level 3 spell slot will probably be Lightning Arrow. What you can also do is Conjure Barrage, right? But in the later game, there's stuff that are weak to lightning and thunder, so taking Lightning Arrow will be eventually pretty huge. Now level 10, we'll get Hide in Plain Sight and more passives. What Hide in Plain Sight is, you camouflage yourself becoming invisible and gaining another +10 to stealth checks as long as you stand still, you know. But it's not as good as some of the earlier one. So here, for your third favorite enemy, it's up to you what you want to take. You know, might take Keeper of the Veil or Mage Breaker, which I might take that. You know, and here, if you took Urban Tracker, you know, you can take Wasteland Wanderer, or if you didn't, you could have all 3 resistances. But since I'm Asmodeus Tiefling, I already have resistance to fire, so resistance to cold will be huge, allowing me to get fire, cold, and poison resistance right off the bat, and then we can replace the spell. At level 11, we'll get another additional level 3 spell slot, more health, new spell, and then subclass stuff like Stalk of Fear, which, you know. So for level 3 spell slot, Conjure Barrage is not bad, but Daylight, no, probably the best one if you're struggling or want to make the enemies have a bit harder time reaching you. Plant Growth is not bad, you know, but protection from the energy is also pretty good, you know. But you can only pick one resistance, but I will probably take Plant Growth personally. Place the spell, right? And at level 12, which unfortunately I don't have, you can replace a spell and get another feat, which you can go with Alert if you don't, or something that helps you, you know, maybe Proficiency in Armor, or ASI if you want to buff your other stats, right? Now that's about it for the base Ranger. Now let's talk about different subclasses. Let's talk about Hunter. So Hunters are kind of like specialized in taking down pretty big enemies, right? Hunters seek the most dangerous prey in Faerun, from ancient dragons to massive hordes of undead, and excel at slaying them. Think about them as people that can, I wouldn't say Legolas, but kind of like him, where you can do a lot of damage decently consistent. You know? So at level 3, you can pick either Colossal Slayer, Giant Killer, or Horde Breaker. So Colossal Slayer is once per turn, your weapon attack deals an extra 1d8 damage if the target is below its hit point maximum. So as long as it's not at max HP, you can do additional 1d8 damage. Or Giant Killer, if a large or bigger creature attacks you, you can use reaction to make a melee attack. Horde Breaker, target 2 creatures standing close to each other, attacking them in quick succession. And you have the Horde Breaker melee and Horde Breaker range. Right, so kind of like a Legolas. But you've probably already seen the picture posted. Now, at level 7, you get defensive tactics. You can pick... defensive tactics is faced with enemies that can instill dread, attack in frenzy burst, and swarm in greater numbers. Rangers inevitably develop cunning methods of defense. You choose one of the following: either escape the horde, still will, or multi-attack defense. Escape from horde is opportunity attacks against you have disadvantage. Pretty good if you want to reposition. Still will, you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. Kinda pretty good, especially when later enemies try to frighten you. At multi-attack defense, when an enemy attacks you, they suffer -4 penalty to additional attack rolls against you until start of their next turn, which is pretty good if they do a lot of multi-attacks. But personally, I would take opportunity attack if I had to pick one. Now at level 11, they get volley and whirlwind attack. Volley is fire cascade of arrows upon nearby enemies, making separate range attack rolls against each target. Pretty good, so you can take multiple enemies out. That's what I mean, like Legolas. And then whirlwind attack, strike out all nearby foes, making separate attack rolls against each one. Again, melee Legolas. Right? Now let's talk about Beastmaster. Beastmasters are, think about a ranger with an animal like a dog or a bear, something like that, like forest rangers. Hopefully I have a picture up. Beastmasters pretty much bind themselves to an animal companion, sharing their intelligent bond that flourishes in and out of combat. So at level 3, when you get this subclass, you can summon a companion like a bear, which can attack, which can do a goading attack or goading roar, which will make the enemies attack the bear, or a boar attack, which can do a charge attack, or dire raven, which can blind enemies. Wolf companion, which can do a lunging bite. Wolf spider, which can shoot webs and poison enemies with its bite. Right? Probably the best ones would be bear and wolf spider. Bear just to get the enemies to attack it, or wolf spider just to poison them. Right? At level 5, you get companion's bond, which bond between you and a companion grows stronger. Your proficiency bonus is added to its armor class, damage, and attack rolls. Right? And you upgrade hit points and abilities for your companion, and then you get a new visual look for them. They have a little bit armor on them. I believe you get a helmet. At level 7, you get exceptional training. Your companion is now able to dash, disengage, and do help as a bonus action, which is pretty good. At level 8, they get more hit points. At level 11, you get Bestial Fury. The bond between you and your companion has deepened. Your companions gain an extra attack now they take the attack action, and they get upgrade hit points, and they get new visual look, which I don't know what that visual look. Maybe they get full armor, but extra attack for them will be huge. For like a spider or a bear or even wolf or whatever, it can be pretty massive. That's pretty much it for Beastmaster. Now we'll talk about the one that I picked, which is Gloomstalker. There are several builds for just pure Gloomstalker Assassin, Thief, whatever, right? We're just gonna talk about Gloomstalker. At level 3, you get Disguise Self, which, well, that's what it is. You disguise yourself, right? You also get Umbral Sight. Umbral Shroud, you can use action to wrap yourself in the shadow, becoming invisible for 10 turns as long as you're obscured. Also get Superior Dark Vision, which means you can see up to 24 meters, which is why I said Dark Vision spells are not great, especially for certain races. Not good, like Draugr get the Dark Vision, Drow get the Dark Vision, a few other ones get it. But as a Gloomstalker, you get Dread Ambusher, which means you get +3 bonus to initiative, and on the first turn of the combat, your movement speed increased by 3 meters or 10 feet, and you can make an extra attack that deals 1d8 damage. And you have Dread Ambusher melee or range, and they deal 1d8 physical damage, which is huge. So you can do Dread Ambusher attack, and then you do your basic attack. You just get Dread Embouchure Hide. As a bonus action, you can hide from the enemy as long as you succeed a stealth check. But you break it when you attack or cast a spell. Level 5, you get Misty Step, and it's always prepared. And it's a bonus action, so it allows you to reposition in or out of combat. Pretty big. At level 7, you get Iron Mind, which allows you to gain proficiency in Wisdom and Intelligence saving throws. Right. Level 9, you get Fear, and it's always prepared. Pretty good, but honestly I wouldn't utilize it. I would utilize primarily Misty Steps. Right. And at level 11, you get Stalker's Fury. Once on each your turns when you miss a weapon attack, you can make another one for free. Pretty good, you know. So you can do a lot of damage and a lot of attacks with a Gloomstalker, right? That's why I personally enjoy it. But again, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Which one of the Ranger classes do you prefer to play? Which one you think is the best? I want to hear your builds. I want to hear it down in the comments, and especially on Discord. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to stay awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.